Again this morning, the emergency services say the situation is now stable. Sean Brickell for West Country Live.
Continuing to damp down a stricken cargo ship at Falmouth docks. At its height, the fire's heat was so intense it made the water being used to put it out boil. The vessel caught fire off the Channel Islands and was towed into the port over the weekend. Stephen Hall reports.
The flames and smoke that poured from the Kukawa's bridge could be seen for miles around Falmouth this morning. The fire aboard the 7,500-ton vessel had been brought under control, but firemen were deliberately venting the blaze above deck to reduce the intense heat below.
We've got 60 firefighters here who were actually rotating through, and they're spending about 10 minutes of time in there because the heat is so intense. The water on the decks is boiling, and the sort of steelwork superstructure is not sort of red hot, it's blue hot.
The fire started yesterday off the Channel Islands when a fuel pipe burst in the ship's engine room. Firefighters from Guernsey, France and Cornwall were flown to tackle the blaze, but a decision was made to tow the stricken vessel into Falmouth docks.
To fight a fire at sea is a difficult process. Although our firefighters are well trained and probably the best trained ship firefighters in the country, they need to be replenished, both with personnel and with their own machinery, their pumps, breathing apparatus and so forth. And it has always been the situation, if one can get a ship alongside, you get a far better end result.
Residents living a few hundred yards from the blazing ship were warned to keep their doors and windows closed because of drifting smoke. The firefighting operation has proved successful. No one has been injured, and the vessel's cargo of cocoa and timber from West Africa has been saved.
7,500 tons of cargo, and we'll be able to look at how we're going to get it off. It's not the normal type of vessel we would handle, but I'm sure we can, and we'll be taking that off over the next 10 days.
Firemen will be damping down any pockets of fire through the night. Much of the accommodation, though, has been gutted. For one man aboard the Kukawa, a fire was probably the very last thing he'd expected. He was a stowaway from Ghana who was handed over to immigration officials when the ship docked.